Welcome to r/AskWomen by Reddit replay. What are your thoughts on the growing number of reports suggesting that Ellen DeGeneres is actually kind of a horrible person? I'm not surprised. When Hasan Minhaj was on the show, she pronounced his name wrong, so he used it as an opportunity to teach her how to correctly say his name. Instead, she kept purposely saying it wrong as a joke. I didn't find it funny. Maybe I'm overly sensitive, but I also have a foreign name that really isn't that hard to pronounce, but gets butchered constantly, or 90% of the time, people don't even bother trying to say. Okay, so I remember she adopted a dog from a rescue organization, and then gave the dog to another family. Her hairstylist's family. That's not how responsible rescue organizations work. You don't just adopt a dog and give it away. No. So, the rescue took the dog back, and Ellen just lost her mind. Accused the rescue of being heartless and ruining the life of the kids who had adopted the dog, etc. on her nationally syndicated TV show. Had her lawyers threatened the rescue organization, etc. Anyway, it was just so offensive to me that she was bullying this small dog rescue because she didn't think the rules should apply to someone like her. Not that she's a murderer or anything, but it's still wrong to sign an adoption agreement for a dog saying that you will not give away a dog, then giving it away. And then, when the rescue takes back the dog, go on your show and cry about it. I would believe it. I used to love Ellen until I went to a recording of the Ellen show. She always came across as someone that joked around with the audience, etc. Every time the cameras were off for commercial breaks, she had the most serious RBF and didn't talk to anyone. She didn't acknowledge anyone. It was sad to see. It was like a switch was flipped and she was a completely different person, even to her guests. It put a bad taste in my mouth and I haven't been able to watch Ellen since. I'm not surprised at all. I've known this about her for years. I went to school in LA and knew several people who worked on her show and nobody had anything good to say. I mean, not to fan the flame or anything, but my brother-in-law worked closely with her for a little while in LA and constantly shared stories about how rude and difficult to work with she was. He quit within months because he couldn't stand how awful she was. So I guess deep down, I feel for her. I certainly don't have any ill will towards her, but karma. She made her bed and now she gets to sleep in it. Don't forget about that episode where she pressured Mariah Carey to drink champagne, hoping it would confirm her alleged pregnancy. Ellen seems very insincere, in my opinion. There's just always something off with her. But it's showbiz, so of course it's a facade. However, that was too far. Why force a woman to speak about something so personal? Especially if she's had issues in the past in regard to pregnancies and miscarriages. 1. I hate that she jump scares people and laughs about it too. Someone mentioned above, she broke a contract about a dog and used her nationally televised show to shame the shelter for upholding the contract. 3. She clickbaits her kindness interviews and I've never felt that she was genuinely happy doing any of that crap. I'm 100% convinced she hates her job, but the money is too good. She always came across as kind of insincere to me. Not necessarily a horrible person, just kind of cold and uncaring about some things. On the other hand, I've also seen her feel genuine emotion and seem to really care about a person or a charity/situation. I do think that due to her occupation/influence, that she does fake things a bit more than the average person though. We got the weirdos who think she's harvesting the organs of children, and their proof/evidence requires mental gymnastics to even try to make it make sense. Then we got the news reporting that she is worth hundreds of millions, and she laid off her whole cast, so she can still film from home with the help of a new cast. And that's some straight bullcrap. I have no ducking idea what to think about it, but my host mom works for Hank Lane, a party organization company in New York, and one time they organized a party in the city in which Ellen was the host. My host mom was heavily involved in supervising that everything was being done the way it was supposed to behind the curtains. She of course had to meet Ellen in order to be constantly checking on her. She says that she approached her in a casual non-fan way. She told her it was a pleasure to meet her of course, and she says that she cut her off and was extremely rude. I want to know the reason why she refuses to look interns in the eyes, or that guests are told not to talk or look at her until their interview. Weird flex. Psychological mind games. When BTS went, all she did was ask intrusive questions. Like, have you had with a fan? Knowing well enough that in Korea talking about sexual stuff is like off limits, and she still made Tren uncomfortable and asked the most basics questions too. Personally, when an interviewer doesn't take the time to ask deep meaningful questions, they lose my respect and interest. I read somewhere that she's wearing an ankle monitor during quarantine because she's under investigation for some heinous crimes. I ducking knew it. Been saying that for years. Shaming that woman for taking more than one gift, playing hide and seek with Portia, and leaving her there. Most of her generosity comes from giving cheap gifts. There was always some evidence. What really convinced me was how easily she moves from a smile to a frown, though. Go watch a few clips, and you'll know what I mean. I kind of felt this way for a while anyway. She makes angry/annoyed faces at her guests a lot, and I remember watching her body language with Portia on her show once, preventing Portia from hugging a guest by subtly grabbing her arm and pulling her back. So not surprised at all. There's been years of blind gossip about how crafty she is to her wife, Portia De Rossi, so I'm not surprised. My friend went on her show and she didn't talk to her backstage, or at all, and when the show started she turned on the Ellen. Her entire Game of Games show breaks of royalty and jesters. She has normal people humiliate themselves for entertainment and money. I've learned that people who put so much effort into being perceived as nice and friendly are often awful people. She always gave off this kind of try-hard vibe that I didn't like. Wasn't surprised at all. Not surprised. My sister works in the movie/television industry in LA, and one of her past roommates worked for Ellen a few years ago and said she was an absolute monster who belittled staff. If she was straight and conservative politically, it would have come out decades ago, and she wouldn't have become anywhere near as popular as she is. It shouldn't matter if she's gay or liberal, the media should report it just the same. I'd be willing to bet the only reason they're reporting it now is because she is becoming less popular, so the media now makes more money selling articles about what an ass she really is than promoting what a wonderful person she makes herself out to be. Thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, subscribe for your daily dose of Reddit. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, and have an awesome day, you wonderful people.